If you've ever tried to learn C++, you probably know it can be, well, a real challenge. But what if there was a way to completely demystify it? Today, we're taking a look at a super popular online tutorial that promises to make learning this powerful language way more simple and accessible for pretty much anyone.
But first, let's just start with a feeling I think we all know. For so many people, learning to code feels completely overwhelming. You're just staring at this wall of confusing text, and it feels like every new thing you learn just raises more questions than it answers. It's a super common feeling, and honestly, it's the #1 reason a lot of people just quit before they even get going.
And look, this isn't just some hypothetical problem. It is a very real experience. Just take a look at this from a reader named Siam. He tried learning from a book by the guy who created C++, and he still found it confusing. This just nails the issue, right? Even the most official sources aren't always the best for beginners. But it also hints that there's a better way out there.
This initial challenge is so common, it even has a name. People call it the programming hurdle. It's that first big wall you hit that can really make or break your whole journey. Getting over it is pretty much the key to success. So let's talk about why it's there in the first place.
The reality is, a lot of the traditional ways we learn just don't work for new programmers. They can be way too dense, they assume you know stuff you don't, or they just leave out important pieces. And that leaves you feeling stuck, totally frustrated, and probably wondering if you're even cut out for this. So, if the old way is broken, how do you get over that hurdle? Well, this is where the Learn C++ tutorials come into the picture. They offer a totally different approach, one that was designed from the ground up with beginners in mind.
And their mission? It's refreshingly simple. Just make learning C++ easy. And here's the most important part. They assume you have zero, and I mean zero, prior programming experience. They start right at the beginning and build your knowledge up, piece by piece, so you never feel like you're being left in the dust.
But how do they actually pull that off? I mean, it sounds simple, but it's not. It all comes down to their core philosophy, which is guided by 4 key goals, all focused on what really helps people learn and stick with it.
This is basically their secret sauce. First off, it's not just about learning C++ syntax. It's about becoming a good programmer, so they cover things like style and debugging. Second, and this is a huge one, they give you tons of clear, complete examples. Third, they include practice programs that come with solutions, so you can actually see if you're getting it. And finally, they keep it fun, because let's be honest, if you're bored, you're not really learning.
Let's just zoom in on that lots of examples goal for a second, because it tackles 2 of the biggest headaches for learners. First, you've got the dreaded ellipsis, the ... that skips over code and leaves you guessing. These tutorials, they give you complete working examples every single time. And second, the surprise concept, where a code snippet uses something you've never seen before. Here, nothing, and I mean nothing, is ever shown without a clear explanation first. It's all about getting rid of that confusion.
Okay, so the platform has a great philosophy, but what about your part in all this? This next section is all about your keys to success. These are the practices that are going to turn these lessons into actual, real-world skills.
To really make this work, you've got to be an active learner. So here are 5 best practices. First, type the code out yourself. Don't just copy and paste. This builds critical muscle memory. Second, when you hit an error, try to fix it yourself before looking for the answer. That's where you learn how to actually solve problems. Third, experiment. Go ahead and try to break the code to see what happens. Fourth, really spend time with the quizzes. They're made to challenge you. And finally, the most important step of all, write your own little programs. That's how you make the knowledge truly stick.
All right, so the philosophies are solid. You've got your own personal roadmap to success. So what's left? Let's just cover the last few things you need to know to get you writing code, like right now.
First things first, there are 0 barriers to getting started. You don't have to create an account, you don't have to sign up for a newsletter, you don't have to give them any info at all. You just go to the site and start learning. That's it.
And the cost? Well, there isn't one. It's completely free. The whole thing is supported by ads, which is how they can offer all this amazing content to everybody without putting it behind a paywall.
But what about that moment when you inevitably get stuck? Because it will happen. Well, the site gives you a clear game plan. First, check the comments on the lesson. Chances are someone else had your exact same question. Maybe scan ahead a lesson or 2. The answer might be right around the corner. You can always use a search engine, ask an AI to explain it, or turn to communities like Stack Overflow. The point is, you're never really alone on this journey.
And really, this is what it all comes down to.
taking the fear and frustration out of learning how to code. When you have the right structure, clear examples, and a support system ready to go, the path forward is pretty clear. So, there's really only one question left to ask. Are you ready to write your first program?